Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Stacey Lascaux with the Los Angeles Times. It's almost the holiday season, so why not check out a few new computers to gift to your loved ones? Joining me today is Sal Rodriguez, one of our best and brightest tech reporters, to help us unbox the Acer C720 Chromebook. Thanks for joining us, Sal.
Hey, Stacey, thanks for having me again. And hey, guys, we are unboxing the Acer C720 Chromebook. This is Acer's new version of its Google laptop, and it's one of two new Chromebooks that came out in the last week. It seems Google and all its manufacturing partners are getting ready to, well, basically they're readying their holiday shopping season lines, and this is one of the two new options. We're going to be comparing this with the other option, the HP Chromebook 11, which I've been trying out for the last couple of days. They're really similar in size. I'm pretty sure they're using the exact same screen, and they're also very similar in price, although this one costs 20 bucks extra. But let me just go ahead and hop to it and start unboxing this. It's kind of a hefty box, but the machine itself is actually supposed to be pretty small. It's supposed to weigh about like 2.30 pounds, I think. So very light, and it's only about 0.7 inches thick. Again, if you're not familiar, this is running on Google Chrome OS, which is basically just a computer that can only really connect to the internet by way of Google's web browser. That sounds like not very much is capable, and you won't be able to do Photoshop, you won't be able to do Final Cut, anything like that. But with the ecosystem that Google's been building over the last couple of years, you can do a lot. For example, you have access to Google Music, Google Docs, Gmail. Google obviously has a calendar. And besides that, there's other websites that people like to go to for their main activities on their computers nowadays, like Pandora, Netflix, that sort of thing. So basically, Google's theory is that as long as you have an internet connection, you can basically do what you need to with your device.
So basically, Google's just taking over the world. Not only on our computers, they are our computers.
Yeah, basically. That's essentially the theory. That you really don't need much more than a web browser. So taking this out, here are all the components. This is a bit of a messier box than the HP Chromebook 11. So if you like basing your purchases by the quality of a computer's box, go with the other machine. As for the actual device itself, we're getting it out right now. Here it is, all wrapped up.
Tiny.
Yeah. So here it is. It's got Acer's logo right there, and then we got the Google Chrome logo, and it's really light. It's got like a nice dark gray color scheme to it. It's plastic. I'm going to go ahead and open it up. And one of the things about Chromebooks is that they're kind of like tablets. They're built to boot up really fast. So once we launch this, yep, sure enough, it's already going. All we had to do was flip it open, and it's good to go. Now, of course, the first thing that it's asking me to do is to hop on to a Wi-Fi network, because these machines really can't do too much if they aren't connected. But as I just remembered, Google Chromebooks always give me issues when I'm trying to connect to my company's Wi-Fi, so I'll set that up later. But for now, we can just look at the hardware. So while the HP Chromebook 11 is really a really pretty, a really cute computer, it looks like those white MacBook Pros, or excuse me, just white MacBooks from like the mid-2000s that Apple used to make. That computer was really nice to look at. This one looks like they basically have the same capabilities, but this one looks like more of a workhorse. This kind of brings to mind those Lenovo type computers, right? If you're going for style points, this is definitely not going to be the option that you want. I mean, you have an Intel sticker right there. It doesn't look very pretty. On the bottom, you have the vents sticking out everywhere. One of the advantages of this machine is that it has more ports, so you can connect more things to it, but of course that adds to making the design a little uglier. So right here you have an SD card slot, you have a USB drive. Over on this side you have a USB 3.0 drive, and then HDMI out. So if you want to be able to hook this up to a variety of things, you're going to have that option, but it adds to the kind of the ugliness of this machine.
Better off than for someone who's a traveling working professional versus the Chromebook, which might be better for a younger or very older demographic?
Well, I mean, this one, just from like obviously like a minute of looking at it, it looks like it's a good computer for someone who wants to have something light, wants to have something cheap, something, but also something that they can hook up with all their devices. That they can stick in an SD card if they want to do some photo editing or something, or they can, plug in USB drives with movies, that kind of thing. So someone who wants the freedom that you normally get with a laptop, but wants that cheap price. Another quick reaction that I'm getting is that, just off memory alone, it seems that the HP Chromebook 11 has a nicer screen than this one. This looks very, it looks like an older style screen. It doesn't look HD. The brightness isn't very high. So basically, it's got like it seems like it's got like 4 viewing angles, But on the pro side, the trackpad on the HP Chromebook 11 is really bad. I mean, like it reacts very poorly to me. And this one is really nice. This is more what you're used to for for a laptop that looks like this. It's very nice, and it reacts very smoothly. Now, what I want to see with this is how quickly is it gonna process? How quickly will it pull up websites for me? This is running on a more powerful and a more recent processor. It has a Haswell processor. So what that means is that it's more recent, and it's more efficient. So for tablets, well, actually not tablets, but for laptops of this kind, it's supposed to have a longer battery life, which Acer says that it does in the HP Chromebook 11. So if you're looking for a longer battery life, this seems like a better choice. But the other thing that I really want to see is how well does it run, because although the HP Chromebook 11 does essentially everything that you want it to, and again, it looks really nice and pretty, it has been a pain to pull up websites with it. And it's not an isolated problem where I just had it here. I've gone with it to 2 other cafes, and I've used it at my own apartment, and it just is very slow when it comes to pulling up websites. So that's one reason that I wouldn't recommend the other Chromebook, which I'll pull out in a second. But if the Acer can get that job done, then even though this one's a little uglier, it might be the better choice, because at the end of the day, it's kind of about getting work done, right?
So this one's really for someone that values work over beauty, whereas the Chromebook 11 might be for the opposite.
Yeah, it certainly seems like this is for someone who wants to get work done. So again, here I'm going to angle my camera down so you guys can get a better peek. That way I don't have to hold them up. But again, this is the Acer C720. This is for $249. It's got 16 gigabytes of internal storage, and then 100 gigabytes of cloud storage for 2 years. Next to it is HP's new Chromebook. This is a 279 model. And again, as you can see, it's a lot prettier. It's got that nice white plastic design, and you can choose the details, the color of the details. It can be blue or yellow or green, red, or just get an all-black machine. And the screen on here is definitely nicer. It's got like a nice glossy-looking screen, but the glare isn't too bad, and it's got really good viewing angles. But as I said before, this is a really slow machine. I mean, it can be painful to pull up a website, especially in 2013. It's kind of like, what is happening here, HP? I don't have time for this.
So we'll be better off getting an iPad then over these, since they're really comparable products, right?
They definitely are. I mean, a lot of people obviously do go with an iPad, but one reason that you would choose this over an iPad is the same reason that some people still choose BlackBerries over iPhones, and that's basically typing. The big advantage here is that you'll be able to do, your homework. You'll be able to really type things out, like if you're a writer, if you're a student, if you need it for, sending emails, that kind of thing. This is probably a better experience than an iPad. A lot of people don't like typing on them. So that's definitely one advantage. And then, you also, it's kind of like, what access do you get to things, right? With an iPad, you can't, for example, use Hulu. You have to use Hulu Plus. Well, with one of these machines, with these types of machines, you do get Hulu. For example, my fiance was trying this out, and she noted that although she can't use Spotify on her iPad, because with these machines she's just going to the Spotify website, she can use them. So there's there's different kinds of advantages. It's another option. Both of these are cheaper options than an iPad, and again, they both have keyboards. So let me pull this back up so you guys aren't talking to a mouth anymore or listening to a mouth. But we'll be checking both of these out. We'll have a review this weekend, and we'll compare. Which one should we get? This is cheaper. It's uglier. It looks like it has a worse screen, but can it do the job better? This is a really pretty computer, but it's a little more expensive. It has more goodies in it. For example, you get a 2-month trial with Google Music, whereas with this one you only get a 1-month trial. This one comes in more colors. So we're gonna have to compare, and we'll see which one we personally recommend out of these two, because it is a matter that a lot of people do care about. Last year, Google did a really good job pushing its Chromebook machines after a really slow start 2 years before. The Samsung Chromebook has been like Amazon's top-selling laptop for like the last year. So people are interested to see which of these two they should maybe go with. And we'll also keep an eye out for any new Chromebooks that may come out, in case any do. So.
Hey, well, I can't wait to see who wins. Meteor Praise. Battle of the Ages coming up here.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and for more on tech and reviews, visit us at latwins.com/